Hello and welcome back to the Super Data Science Podcast. This is 5 Minute Friday, and today the topic is a bumpy ride. Just recently, I was flying on a plane from one island of the Comoros to another, and it was one of those tiny little things with a lot of people jam-packed into it. And the thing is, it's like a tiny little plane. It's very quick because the distance isn't that far. It takes off, about 15 minutes later it already lands. And it's just how people get around there. So like getting from one island to the other, there's 4 islands in total. Very commonly they use planes for that. And the thing is, while it's very exciting and the scenery is great, it's a really fun ride, at the same time, because it's a small plane, it experiences quite a bit of turbulence, so it is kind of like a real life roller coaster. And that ties in quite well with today's topic, which is a bumpy ride. And before I decrypt this topic, let's talk a bit about what we've already mentioned before, and that is the importance of mentorship. We've had a 5 Minute Friday episode about mentors, and you've actually met 2 of my mentors already. So you've met Richard Hopkins. He was on one of the earlier episodes of this podcast, and he was also at Data Science Go last year. And you have also met Vitaly Dolgov, who was on one of the more recent episodes of the show and will be coming to Data Science Go this year, so you'll get to meet him in person there. And those are my mentors, but in addition to mentors, sometimes you can also have coaches. And so what is a coach? A coach is like a mentor, is a person like a mentor, but you pay for their advice, you pay for their tips and guidance. And I also have a coach. I just started this engagement, or started having a coach about a year ago. I wasn't happy with the progress, so I stopped that. And now I restarted it again with a new coach about a couple of months ago. And I'm very happy with the advice, tips, and guidance that he's providing me. We meet up for 30 minutes, several times a month. And all these tips are very, very valuable and help me direct, whether it's my business, personal life, professional, other areas of life in the right direction. And so why am I bringing this up? Well, first of all, I wanted to share what coaching is all about, and that it is quite important. It's another way of getting guidance, kind of like in sports you can have a coach, why not have one in life? But the other thing is that the content for this 5 Minute Friday, or the idea behind this episode, actually comes from my coach. And we were discussing once, a few weeks ago, how to plan your days and weeks. And specifically we're talking about setting goals for a day and setting goals for a week. And my philosophy has always been that, all right, so if I set my goals for every single day of the coming week, let's say it's Sunday, I set my goals for every single day. And I don't do that all too often, but when I really want to plan out my week, I will set my goals for every single day of the week. And I thought okay, so if every single day is going to be successful, then by definition, my week is going to be successful. But he challenged me on that and said, hey, what about if one of your days is not successful? For instance, Tuesday is not a successful day. It's a bad day because you were stuck in a traffic jam, you had a cold, or you couldn't get to the things you wanted to because something else was more important and got in the way. What happens then? Well, when you think about it, what happens then is that throws your whole day off. You're upset at the end of the day or you're not as feeling as accomplished at the end of the day. And that might give you a bad mood the next day. And also those things that you planned for Tuesday might be important, or probably are very important. They're gonna trickle into Wednesday, but you already have your own goals for Wednesday, and that's gonna compound, and you might even have a bad Wednesday because of that, and then it's gonna compound into Thursday and so on. And so that can be a risky situation. And so that is where he said it's actually more important to set your goals for the week first and then set your daily goals. Why is that? Well, because that way you see the bigger picture. You see what, let's say, top 3 things you want to accomplish by the end of the week. And then you can slot them into different days, you can add other things, but you'll have the bigger picture in mind. So in some places you might leave buffers where you know where things might go wrong. Or you might just not jam-pack too many things. That way, if things just fly over into a new day or you have to reshuffle them, you will have that availability, you will have that time to accommodate. Also, if something goes wrong in a day, and this is the key, what he said is that if something goes wrong in a day, you still know that you can accomplish it, you can catch up on the following day, and, or you have 3 more days to catch up on that, and overall the week is going to be great. And this is the key, what he said, from all this was that you can have a bad day, but you can't have a bad week. Like, I know in theory that's not true, like you probably can have a whole bad week, but it's much harder to have a bad week than a bad day. So let's rephrase that. You're gonna have a bad week, you're gonna have a bad day, but it's very unlikely that you're gonna have a bad week. And if you keep that in mind, then all of a sudden things change, right? Rather than just being stressed about not getting things done in any given single day, you know that you have a whole week to get things done, and it is very unlikely you're going to be stuck in traffic jam 5 days in a row. So if that's the case, then maybe like it's time to look into how you get to work and back, or the specific timeline of your days. But it's unlikely that you will things will come up that will disrupt your schedule every single day. And that way you know that even though if one day it goes off a bit, you're not going to be upset, and it's not going to throw away your whole week, because you know you'll be able to get up to speed with that. So that's my tip from my coach for you today. When you're planning out your next week this weekend, or maybe you do that on a Monday, when you're planning out your next week, think about that. So rather than playing out every single day, if you have that habit, try to think, all right, what am I going to accomplish this week? What are the top 3 things that I'm going to accomplish by the end of the week? And once you have those, then dive deeper and put them into every single day when you're going to work on each one of those. Hopefully that's going to help you out, and I can't wait to see you back here next time. Until then, happy analyzing.